Yo, yo, it's ODB from OLP. This is issue 158 of Mini Truckin Magazine. February 2005. We recently turned over a new year. Let's jump right in. You basically have Chris and Becky Starr's 86 Mazda. Orange truck, of course, B2000 Cab Plus with graphics. The tag you'll see is below you, which ties into the feature title. Now, Lance and Mike shot this cover. It was basically Mike's second credited cover and Lance's 22nd credited cover. It's the 19th cover with KMC Wheels. It's the 21st issue with the Mazda on the cover. Relaxed Atmosphere, shout out to them. Their 17th credited cover. And if you take a look at this one, it's awesome. Being that it's a long bed, they did that rear three-quarter shot from the driver's side, really highlighting the graphics. And with the black windows, we'll have to see if we can tell if it was blacked out. But, you know, with the different fonts and the different colors that play into this cover, you'll see how that plays into the engine bay and inside the bed and inside the cab of the truck. So, nicely done cover here. Now, as we jump in and go to the table of contents, you'll see the MIC ad on the right, or excuse me, the left. You have that front three-quarter shot there. Midwest Premier Truck, some love. They mentioned Chris Starr there. The feature mentions his wife as well. We see Grphic, Tacoma. You see a Hardbody. You see an S10. You see a Frontier and a Hardbody. So again, having that mix of trucks would have been key. You could see some of the events there as well. We had Grphic on the podcast, talk about that epic truck and more, and I got a chance to hang out with him up in Kentucky recently at a show. Good dude. So as we go through this issue, you guys know the routine. If you can, watch it all the way through. Also, if you can leave a comment or an emoji thumbs up, that helps us. Don't take things so seriously. So Lance's Scrubline kind of talked about having fun and kind of getting back to the roots of why we do what we do. And he tied in Mike Alexander to that. Here you have Piece of Cake on the right, but you have Graphic Disorderly. So this is when they kind of announced via MT News that Brandt was building the Frontier, which is super sick. And it goes into a bunch of detail about the parts and whatnot. Obviously goes on to be a cover truck, not once, but twice. So more on that in the future, but that's the first little kind of tidbit we get. Here is Reworked, More Wicked, and the second time around. So we can see Grphic 98 Toyota Tacoma from Tennessee, repping NC. And this is a pretty cool layout. I really dig it because you have that front three-quarter shot here. We can see the NC logo on the front, middle, bottom windshield. But then what they did is they basically laid in the rear three-quarter shot. This truck being all red and kind of shaved up the way it is just looks fantastic. So that was a nice little layout there. Of course, the dash, again, kind of talking about in that era. I mean, we still see it, but a lot of people were using or painting the dashes like that. And you'll still, of course, see some of that. Suicide doors, really trick gas filler deal there. The white interior really pops. Super awesome truck. Tip of the cap to Grphic, and he drug the hell out of that thing. Here is Indy Truck Bash, a.k.a. Import and Truck Bash 04. So if you recall in this era, you know, the imports they played a huge role and they kind of were getting their footing in our scene. A lot of people were building them. The magazine, of course, was featuring them here and there. We could see Matt Long's Envoy, that thing is still around. And we see the cover truck here. Now, as I've said in the past, more than likely they linked up with Chris and Becky at this show because the show coverage is here. That aligns nicely with the fact that, you know, 3 to 6 months down the road, or potentially more, it would run. But that's the assumption. This show always had fantastic rides. Got a chance to see this not only at SEMA, but I also saw it, I think, at Indy Truck Bash one of the years I went. There is Lenny Groover's Talk Now version. I had went to SEMA for the first time in 03, and that's when I saw Lenny's truck. I think that was the only time that I ever saw it. Now, at the end, I'll talk to you about, thus far, how many cover trucks, if memory serves me correct, that I've seen so far in my life up to this point. Of course, we're on issue 158. We can see, again, just great coverage. I think that was was that Subculture Taco? And then there's the famous Cab Plus that's still doing the damn thing. It's pretty awesome to see some of the trucks. You know, oftentimes trucks are junked or thrown in the junkyard, or, you know, we never hear about them, but you've got some trucks out there that have stood the test of time, and it's a testament to the builders and the craftsmanship that really went into it. Bigger and better 05 Frontier goes mid-size, so of course we started to see that trend in the mid 2000s of the minis going kind of by the wayside. And it's kind of ironic now, even with the crazy gas stuff that happened in the late 2000s with the economy, you basically have now OEMs trying to come up with mini trucks, more fuel efficiency. I mean, it's like crazy that we're still 10, 20 years goes by and it's like we're talking about the same crap. Can't they just make a truck that goes, 80 miles a gallon? That's not electric. Here you have Ron McKinnis Jr. from Pasco, Washington. Now, I want to say that I met Ron. I believe that I did when I went up there, and you could see the little ski lift deals above. I went to a show at this exact spot. I believe if I remember correctly, I believe I met Ron. But here's the topless Mazda convertible, if you will, and then you have Matt Shag. Kirkpatrick, the real Shag, on the right, repping Severed. Russell Gallo, rest in peace. I tend to get this truck mixed up with the 720 or 620. That was topless, that was recently found and reacquired by Severed New York, because they were similar in kind of the colors. But this was Russell and Brandy Gallo's 95 Nissan King Cab. I was pretty certain that the world had lost Russell, and someone had chimed in a past post, or a past video rather, and they had confirmed that. So rest in peace. This was a cool truck. I think, the graphics were a little wild for some, but the shaved body line, of course, the whole rear end shaved up, a lot of mods. They were repping Subculture. Crazy truck. It's cool to look back at the different styles that have come and gone. Here is Below You, and you see a little bit of that same layout here. You've got that front three-quarter shot with the long bed. You've got the rear three-quarter shot here. This was a cool layout, I thought, too. Below You, that ties into the tag. And again, in this era, not everybody was maybe naming trucks. A lot of times, if they were named, maybe it was something that just tied in on the license plate that would pick up into the feature name, which was kind of cool. And it was always awesome reading these features, kind of hearing how some of these guys acquired trucks and, $3,500 and built a cover truck. So this was, again, a little bit different. You've got the long bed photo above, and then you have the photos throughout on the left side. Kind of see the different colors there that I talked about on the cover that tie into the rear end and the cross member. Same thing with the engine bay. Very colorful in terms of the frame, the control arms, the spindles, even the wire loom. And this was a little bit different as well. Nitrogen. I ran nitrogen on my Suburban. It wasn't the choice for many, but certainly it was pretty awesome. And to see, so pretty awesome bottle bracket setup there. Of course, it's chrome. You see the bottles painted as well. You didn't always see that because typically you would just swap your bottle out. Of course, in this case, he wouldn't do it with that one, but definitely love the bottle setup there. You've got that oatmeal color Interior against the orange contrast with the inlay, kind of the flame inlays in the doors, looks great. And you can see it looks like an Alpine head unit. Again, orange center console. Good photo here. You can kind of see the bottle bracket there with the rear end. All of the different colors. I thought it was pretty awesome how they painted the crossmember orange. Rear end was yellowish, blue frame. All those colors kind of tied in throughout, including the engine bay. And kind of what we saw a little bit on the cover here, just, you know, with the orange in the lower left corner, the yellow, stuff like that. Nice little tie-in. I saw this truck at Indy Truck Bash back in the day. Took some photos of it, and it was pretty awesome. Definitely glad I got a chance to see it. Dustin Haven, want to give him a shout out. I don't always shout out the builders and everything in these videos because, again, you can kind of pause it if you need to. But the reason why, I remember this parked right by Dustin's Suicidal toy that recently changed hands. But you can see here, you see the tag below you. You see all the graphics. Super awesome wheels. Those wheels, I think, don't get enough credit. To me, there was something about them. I always liked these wheels. And I think it was like the little holes towards the center. Really awesome. KMC on the windshield. We can see here, too, I mentioned this before, they would sometimes do this. So you see he was an RA based upon the box up here. So that would have been an RA logo, and then there's Pirelli. So you see the Pirelli is still there. And they would sometimes take off the back, you know, anything on the back cover. And that's just the way it was. But awesome truck, so I want to give them kudos for that build. Here is East Coast Nats 2004. Of course, the cover truck here. A lot of nice stuff. And you can see, believe it or not, again, as I said in the last one, you still have color. This truck was always so awesome. As an S10 guy, I love that truck. And, but you see here on the right, still black and white. Looks like BAD awards, at least the two there. And then you have the old school awards. That's one thing that's really changed about our scene. I think the mini truck scene, I've said this before, has some of the most awesome awards in the scene. It's hard to believe that they still have a couple of non-color pages, but sure enough, they did. It's a crazy frame setup there. Here you have riding around. Again, these are all in 4K, so you can always bump up the bump up that setting. Mike talks about in Draggin Thru, tickets keep the truck and owner broke. And of course, that was kind of like a topic that him and I think others would write about, of course, getting the tickets and all of that stuff. This was Eric and Cindy Rhodes 92 S10 from Hornsby, Tennessee, from Reppin' RA. Now, this is the truck. For those that don't know, this is the truck that DJ Mays owns. He's, of course, doing a remix on it. It was shot for street trucks. And this is just one of my favorite trucks because, number one, these square trucks look so great, even regular or center extended cab or regular cab. This one was cool because I like, of course, the layout. But just these squares laid flat, and then to me, this color really sets it off. And then, boom, the Phantom Grille. Again, DJ Mays, a.k.a. Jason Barbaglia, he is doing what he calls his truck Teal Short, and he's doing a remix, which ties in nicely to his gig of DJing. Super awesome truck. Again, built 20 years ago, but still doing the damn thing out there. And I grew up driving or riding in a style truck like this. Look at the taillights, though. Which my dad had an 88 Jimmy, GMC Jimmy. So I know those controls well. Hawaiian Isles Autofest. So this was pretty cool. Mike Alexander got to go to Hawaii. Imagine getting to go to Hawaii for work. And according to the layout, it says Mike Alexander shot the photos. And if you didn't know, that bikini contest, though, Hawaii has long had some really awesome rides out there. There was even a magazine, kind of an obscure magazine I've seen over the years, that was Hawaiian themed. And there's a lot of enthusiasts out there. I can imagine how much it would cost to build something out there. Don't know if the shipping's free, but you can just imagine, you know, the resources are a little constrained compared to what we've got here on the mainland. Here is taking over SoCal, so the second annual Ludikrs show. Bikini contests were a big thing. I don't know that they still are. I think they kind of are. It depends. There's the Tacoma that was on the cover. And you can see there, almost all color. This was some of my favorite show coverage, when they would just have a decent-sized box, little border around the photos, and you got a chance to see everything pretty clear, you know. That was the key thing, I think, to me with the show coverage. Suicidal Tendencies, so the sickest door mod made simple, and Mike Alexander doing a tech article for Suicide Doors, which is one of the GOAT mods out there. It's been around a long time. And then we've got Graffiti. Now, I don't know who this is on an avalanche going through. Is that Mike Alexander? I don't know. I don't know if I want to know. Going through a car wash. This super clean S10 with that topper, though. Mini Truckin tattoo. Pebble Pushers tattoo. Hydros. Hanging out. Good times. So, with that being said, what do you guys think? Now, up until this point, of course, we're looking at Mini Truckin Magazine. And up to this point, I think it was 35 cover trucks I've seen in person. So, I've kind of kept track of in my little database, you know, every time I would go through one, you know, had I seen this truck in person, yes or no? And so I kind of did a tally today, and it's like 35 trucks through 158 issues I've seen in person. That includes recently one I saw in Kentucky, which was Captain's Toyota, that graced the cover. And I had never seen that truck before, so I'm always actively updating that. But it's kind of crazy to think that I've seen that many in person. Again, issue 158, February 2005. Thank you for all the support. If you can leave a comment, like this video as well, and just share this if you've got anybody or a Facebook group that you think that people would appreciate the content or the information. Certainly would appreciate you sharing it. Chris and Becky Starr's 86 Mazda B2000 Cab Plus with graphics below you. Think it's sick. Stay on the rise, everyone. There's no model dough. We got ya.